be unreal, and you look at CM Punk and Triple H, they're like crying in each other's arms, like, what the hell am I watching, right? What the hell am I watching? I'm not saying don't, make amends. I'm not saying don't be friends after a big feud. It just really seems weird to me that he goes out to make a career out of everything that is against the WWE, and everything that he built up outside of the WWE fails. The UFC fails him. AEW fails him because he's starting fights backstage against like a little kid. Like, it really is weird, everything that CM Punk did outside of WWE, just for him to fail and go back there, right? He just went back there because there was no other way. And obviously, I'm happy that he's back. He's a big name. Everything that really was supposed to be a big time thing started after CM Punk came back. That's pretty true. But ever since he came back, he never really had a big time role. And that is what really bothers me. And it just doesn't seem to bother him. Let's just roll the tape.
Like, we all make more money now, which is, my paycheck was always predicated on how many people were in the building.
Yeah.
So I was driven towards ticket sales and the business of it. And when you're in the main events, you got paid more money. And now everyone's just kind of on salary. So I think that's good and bad. It's good for the boys, but also I feel there's not the same ambition, I always wanted to be in the main event because it got me more money. And now I think now I don't care if I'm the opening match because I'm still going to make the same.
And so this is what we're dealing here with. The once best in the world, Mr. I want a main event WrestleMania, Mr. I want to be the guy that moves tickets. I want to be the babyface. I want to move merch. I want to do this. I want to do that. Turn into a guy who doesn't care anymore where he is on the card. That is a CM Punk that came back. You would think a guy who has been out of the WWE for such a long time would want to come back and immediately beat Roman Reigns, beat Cody Rhodes, be in a feud with The Rock. But no, instead this guy's wrestling against Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship on night one. So I don't really see the beef that he was causing 10 years ago just to be in the same position, if not worse, 10 years later. You would think he would come back and be a bigger deal, which ultimately that return was. Right, on the same night, Randy Orton came back, but we only talked about CM Punk being back, just for him to immediately enter a feud with Seth Rollins, who was just a B-side, and then Drew McIntyre, who never really main evented anything in his life, okay? So immediately, CM Punk got treated as a secondary rate wrestler, which is really unfortunate because they planted the seeds at the 2024 Royal Rumble when him and Cody Rhodes were the final two standing, and he said, oh my God, I will never let Dusty's kid beat me for this. I will win the Royal Rumble. And then Cody Rhodes turns it around and he tosses him over. And as he tossed him over, to add insult to injury, literally, this guy tore his tricep off the bone. So immediately, not only did the WWE not want him to win the Royal Rumble, he also put himself in a worse position by getting injured and separating his tricep. So ultimately, we as fans, what are we dealing with here? We are dealing with a situation of a big-time star coming back to be a big-time bum. I mean, could you imagine the final boss coming back into the WWE and there's like CM Punk being the anti-corporate side of things and he's the cult of personality, the voice of the voiceless, and he battles The Rock and they go on to have a big massive feud that involves many different wrestlers and that pushes many different wrestlers into another level and it helps them get to that higher peak in wrestling? No. Instead, he goes out and has a weird triple threat match against Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins because Paul Heyman made a promise. Paul Heyman made a promise. What are we dealing with here? And we as fans can look at that and stand still and think to ourselves, it doesn't make any sense. What the hell is this? This just seems like a fabricated smokescreen main event so that we can make CM Punk shut the hell up and he can be a little cooperative dog. That's what it comes across as. And that is the image that is completely opposite of what he wanted to build in the last 10 years. And so what is it exactly that CM Punk still stands on, right? For example, he went ahead and he talked trash about The Miz, right? The Miz was promoting like the Saudi Arabia PLE and immediately CM Punk tells him to go suck a blood money covered you know what in Saudi Arabia, you freaking dork, all right? Now, mind you, he's telling this to a fellow wrestler, a man that he spent probably 10 years with on the roster. He knows him very well, but he has no problems going out on Twitter and dissing him. Now, also, At the same time, he's dissing the WWE for what they're doing, right? And like, I don't really see the inherent problems with holding an event in Saudi Arabia. Like it's just wrestling, bro. It's fake. You go out, people want to have a good time. You go ahead and bounce around a few times. You hit your freaking finishers, and then you just go home, right? No big deal. Like, it's just wrestling, bro. People that want to make it out to be like a bigger deal are just total dorks, right? So that's my point of view. So I never understood why he did that. It didn't make any sense. I can see why he took that stance, because it was just anti-WWE, anti-establishment. Oh yeah, I am very morally superior than you. But very, very funny that 2 years go by, 3 years, or like however long it took before he came back. He goes to Saudi, and this guy literally, and this wasn't even like a shoot, right? Because they made it look like it was a shoot. CM Punk finally lands in Saudi Arabia. Everybody's greeting him. Everybody's very hospitable to him, blah, blah, blah. And he goes on this panel. He takes the microphone, and he acts like it's a shoot. And like, I want to address a few things. And you, what is your name, sir? Muhammad, very fucking typical, right? I'm Muslim, by the way. But, very typical. He says, oh, Muhammad, I am very, very sorry. I am apologizing sincerely to you and every single Saudi Arabian and the country of Saudi Arabia. I was very mad. I'm sorry. What? Like, first of all, this is how stupid you look. You didn't have to say all of that before, obviously in that tweet. You didn't have to come out and take that stance, which was really stupid to begin with. Then you go over there and you look like a complete dork, like a sellout dog, and you just made enemies that you didn't really want to have enemies with, right? So that is a position that CM Punk holds right now as a complete sellout, a fraud, a hypocrite. And let's just take a look at what he's doing today or lately in the WWE on Monday Night Raw, which is the premier brand of the WWE on Netflix. So the main storylines that he's currently involved in is against Braun Breaker. Now, it all really began at War Games. Okay, at War Games, CM Punk walked in as the World Heavyweight Champion after beating Jey Uso for the second time for the crown, right? Because he wrestled Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship contender match. And then when Seth Rollins got injured, he vacated his title, and then he had to wrestle Jey Uso again for the actual championship. So, nonetheless, he walks into War Games, and the clear contender is Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker has his own issues. I'll get to that in a moment. But CM Punk, he walks out of War Games looking at Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. These three are looking at one another, potentially maybe signaling to a match at WrestleMania. We'll see. But the following Monday Night Raw, Braun Breaker comes out and he cuts a pretty good promo. He said, you told me back in the day when I get to be a big boy that maybe I could be able to cut a good promo. And until that day comes, you will not be a big boy. And then, Braun Breaker cuts an okay promo, pretty good for his standards. And he says, well, la-di-da, consider the promo cut. I have arrived. And then the following week, Braun Breaker comes out again. He probably forgot to say a few extra things, but at this time, he added a few different punchlines, and he said, I will also take your bitch, right? Obviously, he's talking about AJ Lee. And it really bothers me that CM Punk, even though it's obviously kayfabe, in kayfabe, his own character doesn't immediately come out the following Monday Night Raw and attack him backstage. He doesn't go out and completely go berserk. He doesn't go out and try and take revenge. No, instead, what does he do? He takes a 3-week vacation after War Games. So 3 weeks long, he's nowhere to be seen, and Braun Breaker is cutting promos on him. And then finally, he comes back. He gets on the mic, and he says, I was gone for 2-3 weeks because the doctor ordered me to be away because I was injured from the War Games. Are you kidding me, bro? And in the War Games, not to mention, these guys literally use ketchup packets. At a certain moment in the match, you could literally see Cody Rhodes and CM Punk get color, and then by the end of the match, it was completely gone. Right? It's like, damn, bro, you're fake. Your character is fake. You've been a hypocrite for the last 5 years. You come out and you wrestle, and you're using blood packets to get color. You don't even bleed for real. The blood is not even for real. Come on, man. Like, to me, that is the biggest problem of CM Punk. All of the potential he had, like for example, after John Cena turned heel, he comes out on the Monday Night Raw after the Elimination Chamber. He's like, oh yeah, The Rock, you're a bald fraud. John Cena, you're a fraud, this, and this. And you would think there might be a proxy feud between The Rock, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk. But no, instead, the WWE has Seth Rollins come out and they have a 10-minute across the arena brawl. Great way to move heat away from the situation. Like, that completely died down what CM Punk was all about. We could have had an opportunity where CM Punk comes out and he addresses the corruption and the corporation side of things and the final boss and this, right? The corporate champions. That would have been something that Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, if they were to unite, could have greatly benefited from in making WrestleMania 41 a big time deal. But no, instead, the WWE looks at him and they shove him aside and they don't even address that situation once. Up until obviously CM Punk and John Cena had their match at that one-off time at Night of Champions, I believe. And that was it, right? That was it. So even in kayfabe, his character doesn't line up to what he's saying. If he had that much of a problem with The Rock being a bald fraud and John Cena, cheaply beating you at the Chamber, and you don't really have anything else to show for it, aside from the fact that, you and Seth Rollins got a feud going on. Like, aside from that, where did you go after that? Let's just say he was quickly detoured because Seth Rollins curb stomped him at the Elimination Chamber, costing him the match. At the main event of Night 1 at WrestleMania 41, that match was settled, right? It was over and done with. But no, he had to linger around Seth Rollins and the Money in the Bank and this. I want to go after the title. It doesn't make any sense why he never wanted to be in the big time storylines. It didn't make any sense. You want to cut promos about it, but you don't want to be involved in it. And that is a recurring theme of CM Punk. And there is nothing truly redeeming about him right now. Maybe if he were to turn heel, that could change. And I'm not going to lie to all of you guys. I'm sick and tired of people saying, oh yeah, Cody Rhodes needs to turn heel, or Jey Uso needs to turn heel, or Roman Reigns needs, or like a heel turn in essence is not going to completely save a wrestler's trajectory. In my opinion, it just has to make sense long term. Cody Rhodes, if he were to turn heel, what does it change? Nothing. Now, for CM Punk, it could change a lot of things. Like I said, this entire video has been about all the hypocrisies and why I kind of hate CM Punk now as a character, but he doesn't really play into it. He barely shows up on Monday Night Raw, he barely progresses any storylines, and the matches that he's in doesn't make any sense. So, what should we do? We should bring out Triple H and CM Punk and start a new faction. We can begin a proper corporate man CM Punk era, right? We can start that. We can now call him Corporate Man Punk. And obviously on Monday Night Raw, we have Division as like the big premiere, like, evil, big time feud. But we can easily fix this with the WWE draft. We can send Division over to SmackDown and boom, we fix that issue right then and there. And then we can start a long-term booking with Triple H and CM Punk being corporate men and CM Punk selling out and being a proper evil heel. And at this time, this will also play into the role of Triple H getting massive heat because we all hate Triple H right now for his poor booking. So we can blend reality with kayfabe and kind of go from there. So that might be something that I would love to see. And in that situation, we could bring out the ultimate babyface that we all want to see pushed, LA Knight. And then we can have LA Knight be part of a big time feud. He could maybe team up with Seth Rollins, who probably would come back as a babyface. And this could be a very, very interesting storyline. And that is only an idea here. At this moment, CM Punk has completely lost his face. He has not been the guy that we thought he would be. He has not been in the positions that we thought he was going to be in. And he seemingly doesn't care at all. And the people that do care are only a dying breed because the WWE is a sinking ship and they're only trying to milk it for what they got left. I am the Heels Advocate and I'm out.
All right, friends, it's Simon. I'm going to do another reaction video to our good friend, you know who, Jason Blaha. So we're going to react to the gym lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear sleeves, new video. In this video, Blaha says, protein overfeeding for losing fat while gaining muscle. Yeah, okay.
All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you a little.
That was hanging, man. Now he stretched it out.
Bit about protein overfeeding for lean gains. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here with Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness. A quick
What is this exactly? What is this going to do exactly? Man, this guy's crazy.
reminder, if you guys will please click like and drop a comment down below. Let me state with this is not just about my own personal experience. This is a topic that we have plenty of evidence for.
Yes, people do this naturally out in nature when they're hunting. They grab onto these bars and they throw their feet up and down, yeah. Because they don't have anything better to do with their life. Yes, okay.
So people say, well, you're not shredded, but I've made very lean gains. I've actually lost body fat while getting stronger recently.
He has. He's gone down from 300 fat pounds to, I don't know, under 200.
So actually, it does actually work. It works really well in using me as an example.
Yeah, starving yourself works really well. That's why he's lost mass, but he's still fat. He's just got a bunch of weight on his body, man. Look, he has no lats, man, no arms. He has nothing. He has never... Man, you understand that muscles are post-mitotic. Muscles are post-mitotic. He has no forearms, no arms, no triceps. He has no lats. Look, there's no lats. There's nothing. This is his natural look. And I don't know about his fucking TRT or what the fuck he's doing there, but I'm going to tell you right now, this look is just a normal person walking down the street look. His legs, his calves, his body. It's just, there's nothing going on here. It's not like it's been transformed or something through any kind of bodybuilding or lifting at all whatsoever.
Because I have a history of being a fluffier power lifter. But let's set aside what's happened with that, and let's talk about...
There's zero hypertrophy here. The only thing he did was lose some body fat because starvation diet.
Research. Let's talk about examples of guys like Martin Berkman.
His spine and his back area to his neck and his head, he suffers from kyphosis. And he suffers from sarcopenia, a loss of the stem cell pool. It's shortening because of all this lifting.
I'm telling you guys this, especially when it gets combined with fasting. Because one of the guys who was involved with the protein overfeeding studies...
See, combined with starvation, yes.
Like Alex Leaf, I know him and his wife personally. They're pretty good people.
You don't have to starve yourself. All you have to do is eat natural food as a natural animal.
He is really big on fasting, and he co-authored that big study on protein overfeeding. Okay,
Well, what does protein overfeeding have to do with starvation? He's big on starvation. Why? Starving yourself can cause irreparable damage to your body.
like his graduate work, he was part of it. So in that case, what they had found in that study, and again, let me point out, he's pointed that out and just chatting with them too. He's like you combine the protein overfeeding with something like fasting. He's like, people tend to lose body fat no matter how much they eat.
So starvation with a combination of protein overfeeding. Why do you need to starve yourself if you're eating only protein? You've also obviously cut out the food that was making you fat, the peasant slave food diet, and you started eating protein. Yeah. Blah's an idiot, man.
And this is someone with, again, an advanced biology degree, specializing in nutrition and protein metabolism.
Whatever.
Who is actually